Morning, everybody. Thank you to everyone that prayed for me last night. I actually feel better today. I don't know if you've ever seen this area before, but hold on. This is Alton Bay right here, and sorry, I'm whipping the camera around, but I want you to see the different spots. This is the end of Alton Bay, New Hampshire. That land across the street above that white or bluish, light blue building, all that stuff you see in the distance, that's all the Christian Conference Center in Alton Bay. And that's kind of where I spent my teens, at my girlfriend's house. And I lived on the opposite side of this lake in Moulton Borough on a place called Bon Air, which was only in the summer, though. I lived in Windham, New Hampshire, but during the summer we lived at Clark's Landing, it's called, but it's an original landing of the Lewis and Clark expedition on Lake Winnipesaukee, which is the largest lake in New Hampshire. And just coming around the bend right here. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, so good thing I was going slow. Put my hazards on just in case somebody nails me coming around this corner. But I was thinking about the fact that, like, lakes don't have icebergs, obviously, but oceans do. So if oceans have icebergs, that's what they say is going to melt to cause global warming. And yet, the very small beach that we have in New Hampshire called Hampton Beach, and there's a couple other ones along the way there, but New Hampshire has one of the smallest coastlines on the East Coast. And we don't have anything that has changed as far as a rise in water level. And I'm mentioning this because right now the water level here is very high on the lake because we've had just endless amounts of rain recently. The weather has just been terrible. Usually my birthday is coming up on the 27th, and usually this time of year it's Memorial Day weekend and it's beautiful for my birthday, and yet and you'll notice I got my windshield fixed, thank God. Thank the Lord for that. And see that? I just got my car inspected yesterday. Thank the Lord for that as well. Many blessings have been happening since I made that video yesterday. Actually, right after I made the video, God let me get my inspection sticker shortly after that, which I was worried about. Not that the car is not in good shape, it's just that it's an older car and you never know if, like, the work that you did on it is going to be good enough to pass inspection. So this is an 03 Toyota Avalon, and I've been putting a lot of stuff into it. But side note real quick, so I oftentimes think about that they're pushing global warming as a reason for them to murder all of us and all these different things, and chemtrails and all the things they do to try to protect the earth and blah blah blah, which really is just BS. But in the show, Lazarus, which is obviously Jesus's best friend that he brought back to life, mentioned in the Gospel of Nicodemus by the devil and death, they created in this anime made by the guy that made Cowboy Bebop. They have a pill that you take and it gets rid of all your pain. And it was a trick that this guy, Dr. Skinner, did. It was a trick so that he could make everybody die within 3 years of taking it, because he was sick of the way that they were treating the planet. He was speaking at the United Nations in this anime, saying that the ice is going to melt and it's going to kill everyone. And in this show, it's in the future, and it shows all these towns that are now gone because the ice has melted, just like he had predicted. And so he predicted the ice melting, and then all of a sudden it happens 3 years later when everyone's dying from this pill that he created to make everybody not have pain. Like, he basically tricked everybody. And that's what's happening right now. If you'll notice that a lot of people are having heart failure and all these different things, that it's from a trick that happened back in 2020 and now 2021, and now you're seeing the side effects of this. And so, and I personally, I'm telling you, that one of my bosses was on a ventilator. He was the longest person on a ventilator in New Hampshire, and he just was in the hospital. And you could say, it's diabetes and he was in poor health. Well, he really wasn't in that poor of health before all of this, but they put him on a ventilator for 3 months. And then now, like 2 days ago, he just was in the hospital and he lost his second to largest toe because he's dying. His body is atrophying and he's dying. And like I said, my cousin Joey was in remission from cancer. Then that thing happened, and then all of a sudden now he's dead from pancreatic cancer. And my uncle Steve, his father, perfectly fine, normal dude, and like used to play basketball, was in good health for like his age, and now he's dead too. And it's just going, like, whatever your ailment was, whatever your thing was that was your ailment, it's just taking over. And it's just scary to see something that's in an anime happening in real life too, like at the same time. And it's called Lazarus, which is Jesus's friend that was raised from the dead, because they're trying to bring people back from the dead, because they're all going to die because they took the pill. And it's just weird in that sense, but also the fact that they're lying not only in real life but on this show, because in the Super Gospel, Jesus says that in the end times, sorry, my phone keeps dropping, but it says in the end times, they're going to dig for water in the ocean and they won't find any. God's going to dry up the ocean so that there is no way for people to get water anymore, just like kind of in the book of Eli, where there's no water anywhere. So if there's no water in the oceans, and they're trying to desalinate it just to get water, what do you think is going to happen to the lakes and the streams and all those places? Like, people are going to be going north to south, east to west, trying to find water, and they're not going to find any. And in my dream of tsunamis taking over and all these other things, it was, even though there was a tsunami coming, there was, like, everywhere that we went looked like the anime Fist of the North Star, which is like a desert plain and everything's broken and crumbling. It looks like, honestly, it looks like Gaza, just a desert with like all these buildings crumbling. And there is going to be a worldwide earthquake. There's going to be one. And, you know, I'm not trying to be like negative or anything like that, even though I feel like crap. But like, I'm actually like, I was a class clown in high school. I was like drawing anime eyes while they were trying to teach me about like fake space and math I didn't care about and all this other crap. And I was just drawing anime eyes. I'd barely pay attention, and then somebody say something stupid, and I'd throw like a one-liner in the middle of class, I'd barely talk, and I'd throw out a one-liner and get kicked out of class because I was just a class clown like that. I was even in the yearbook for being a class clown because I just didn't care. And I don't care really about anything except the fact that they took books out of the Bible. Why do I care about that so much? Because it's BS that people think that they can take God's word and spin it for their own money and their own gain and their own, like when I see Joel Osteen and his kids on TV like pitching crap, I want to throw up. And I don't really care about much else. Like, I don't care about hardly anything, really. You just go to work, come home, pay the bills, do the same crap like day after day. Like, if I see people struggling, I help them. If there's people that I think might listen to what I have to say, or even some that don't, I just say how I feel. You know, space is fake, the earth's flat, hell's below us, heaven's above us, and Jesus is coming back soon. I mean, what else is there? Jesus died for our sins, and people don't read the books that tell you that he went down and paid the price for our sins. Christianity in the West, the entire country's Christianity, is a farce. They don't tell you that Jesus went down to the underworld and saved everybody from Adam to the thief on the cross. That's a major, major problem. And they don't tell you that Enoch was the righteous scribe that Jesus took straight to heaven. They just tell you about Elijah. So then it leads you to think that Moses is one of the two witnesses because he was on the Mount of Transfiguration, and that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. It's not. And you tell a pastor this and they're like, wow, you're pretty smart, aren't you? But they don't tell you like the truth. They don't say, wow, tell me more about this so I can tell my people. Like, that's what Peter and Jude are talking about. They eat their food in front of you at your love feast without the slightest qualm, but they don't tell you the truth. That's a problem with Christianity. And it's fake. These pigs are wallowing in the mire. And the mire is There's gunk that they've created through false religion. It's just gunk. It's crap. And it makes nobody that actually is a good person or a decent, smart person want anything to do with religion, because the religion that we have is fake. And that's what it says in the Bible too. If you think that way, then your religion is in vain. And that's scary, bro. That's scary. That's like eternal damnation for thinking that way. Like, you need to get out of the churches that are in this country. They're all evil. Like, there's very few, very, very few that I would actually go to, and they're all over the country, like sparsed out, like one in per state type of thing. Like Robert Farrell's church he went to, where people were actually coming in to listen to what was being said. That's like the only place. And but like, they're teaching it in separate classes, but at the same time, it's not what they teach like every day in church. Like, this should be taught every day. This should be taught at every picnic. This should be shouted from the rooftops, and it's not being shouted. Except by me, except by Robert, except by Zen, and Rob Skiba's gone, Does Dizdar's gone. Like, there's a lot of people that were trying to like protect people from the fake religious thing, and they got taken out, you know. And poor Zen is like, you know, not in the best of health. I just started feeling better yesterday. It's like we're all being attacked because we're saying the truth. And with the weapons that they have, I'm not saying they're going to win, but the weapons that they have these days with like everything is ridiculous, and we would even hardly ever know. I mean, look what Suge Knight did to Eazy-E type of stuff. You know what I mean? They have these things that they can do to you to like make you sick when you go to certain shows or you go to certain places, and like you would never know. Like, and then there's witches putting curses on people and stuff like that. And I'm not saying it like works all the time, but it could work for a week, and then you're like, you know, it's not good, man. That's what I'm saying. Like we are being attacked. There is a war going on, and most people only care about the car that you see in front of you. Like, they care about their Mercedes and their, you know, their high-end lifestyle, and like how much money I made this month and all this other crap, when it's meaningless. You know, you need money to get by, but it's meaningless. It's literally meaningless. And when you stand before God someday, you're going to realize how meaningless it was. Wealth is an illusion. Even Solomon said wealth is an illusion, and he wished that he had just spent his time like appreciating good food and wine and things like that when it was all over, after he had his little Aladdin moment where the demon threw him out of his palace, and like then he was scared to even sleep at night because he was afraid a demon was going to take over his nation again. And what I just said is not in the Bible, but it still happened to Solomon. He still had like 60 to 100 guards watching him at night to make sure that nobody attacked him, because God gave him the power of the Pentaphel ring to control demons. Solomon went too far with it, and he shouldn't have, but he did. And then he lost everything because he was getting too close to the demons that he was calling forth. And that's something that we all should take notice of, is that they say one greater than Solomon has come. Why? Because Jesus didn't need the power of a ring to control demons. He didn't need the power of a ring, and he never let the demons have any sway in his life. And even to Satan himself, he said, man doesn't live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. And that means that we are supposed to be reading these books that were removed, the ones they took out, every word that comes from the mouth of God. And the mouth of God is Jesus. He's the Memra. He is the one that created all of existence. He is the part of God that made everything that we have today. And it's hard to think that way. It's hard to think that God could be three things and one thing at the same time. But water is the same way. Water is ice, mist, and water, but it's still water. That's what he said to Peter, like, when you see God, you're seeing me. Have you not known me? Like, you're looking right at me. You didn't know I'm God? Like, how did you not know that? Like, how did you not know how to be born again, Nicodemus? Like, all these things people just don't get. But obviously, you can't just go back in your mother's stomach and be born again. He's talking about a spiritual being born again. And like I said, Adam was in the Jordan River praying when Eve was tempted. And oh, we're in Wolfboro, by the way. So, this is a very, very high-end ritzy town, and everybody here is a snob. It has the school, Brewster Academy, up here on the left-hand side pretty soon, where Steven Seagal's son went. It's like some of the most snobbiest people you'll ever meet in your life. And this is actually where me and Jackie had our honeymoon, because we were working on a house for some guy, and he has 2 mansions, and he let us stay in one of the mansions. But anyways, Adam was praying in the Jordan River, and the angels went to pray before God. If you read the Testament of Adam, it tells you that the angels go and pray before God at certain times of the day. So it was that time of the day they left to go pray to God, and Satan took that time to go and tempt Eve and slept with her, producing Cain, which then produced an entire race of beings that are on this earth that are half seraphic, and they can change their appearance. George Bush's daughter that's on TV right now, she is one of them. He is one of them. Their family line is one of them. And you can see them glitch out on TV. Like, you can see it. Watch it. I'll show you a picture right now. Like, it's on my phone. And people are like, oh, I don't understand. Well, go in the shower and put a face cloth over your eyes that's warm, and just press on your eyes a little bit, and you're going to see the same pattern that glitches out on her face on TV. And same thing with the dude from Edward Cullen from, this is Brewster Academy. The same dude, Edward Cullen, that was in the Twilight series. Same thing happened. His face glitches out the same way. A liquid crystal display screws up that's in front of his face. They're not human. And that's what that movie Wicked is about, where you see, like, they're doing like that. They're doing that thing where they basically are doing like the thing where Adam touches God's hand in the Sistine Chapel painting by Michelangelo or whatever it is. That, like, they're doing that painting where Adam touches God's hand, but they're doing it with the good witch and the bad witch, which is the green one touching the human one. That's the reptilians touching the humans, because they grew up together. So this is pretty cool. The Wright Museum, there's a tank coming out of it. But yeah, this goes up to Ossipee, where there's there used to be 100,000 years ago, supposedly, there was an active volcano, but you can still see the volcano up there. It's a good place to go metal detecting and whatnot. But yeah, this is a pretty area around here, though. Sorry, I'm going on tangents, but... yeah, anyway, so, like, and maybe the whole reason I wanted to bring this up is because, like, what I was talking about is that, like, people say that there's going to be global warming and that the water's going to take over the earth. It's not going to happen, because God's going to get rid of the water, and people are going to be digging in the ocean. It's just funny to me, because, like, he's going to make notice everything that people say, he's changing it so that it's not possible to say it any longer. Like, people said, like, different things about what a man is, what a woman is. Like, oh, we need to give these people certain rights and stuff like that. Yeah, they want to give them rights until Susie can't get a scholarship because her swim meet just got defeated and her track meet just got defeated by somebody that claims to be something that they're not. So now she can't get into Yale, and now they're pissed. See what I'm saying? Same thing's going to happen with the ocean. Oh, global warming? Yeah, I'll show you global warming. All of a sudden, got real hot, didn't it? No ocean anymore. You gotta go drill in the ocean for water, and you're not gonna find any. That is the wisdom of God. You think that you're so smart, but you're not gonna defeat God's wisdom, and you can't. And God's wisdom is many things, and one of them is a whole, like, almost endless group of books that people have said are meaningless, that they've said that they're not true, they're pseudepigrapha, they're apocrypha, which means hidden, Pseudo, which means false, which it's not false. Gnostic, which means knowledge. Jesus said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So everything that we have come to believe is a lie. Unless you know the truth, which sets you free, you can't understand the beginning of the things that I'm talking about. And soon, even people that have been the wisest of our church leaders are going to be put to shame because they did not hold to the principles that Jude says in the Bible, which is that Enoch, seventh from Adam, prophesied, making him a prophet. And then that righteous scribe, the prophet Enoch, is coming back as one of the two witnesses to tell everyone that you have made a mistake. You have taken the treasures of God and you have buried them, and you're going to get in trouble if you hold on to this view. You're going to be proven to be a fool if you hold on to the view that you hold, which is that Jude was not correct. Jude was, in fact, correct. He used to sit with Jesus at the dinner table. So, 21 minutes. I think that's good enough for today, guys. God bless you all. Hope you have a fantastic day. Still driving through Wolfboro, New Hampshire on a rainy day on a Friday. And hope you guys stay safe out there. God bless you all and take care.